Hey guys, Josh here, and today this one is one that a lot of you guys have wanted, which is Spider-Man 2099. Now I'm just going to say this from the top, the slides themselves are very brief, concise, to the point. I will talk audio-wise more in depth on certain things with the character's bio. So if you're reading the slides and are just like, man, this isn't detailed enough, listen to what I'm saying, especially for this one. This one, for some reason, I made the slides very generic and not super detailed, so I will clarify that myself while I'm talking now. So let's begin. Now, I don't know why I forgot to put this in here, but McGill OHara, he's of Irish descent and Mexican descent, which comes to actually importance later on at the end of the bio, which I'll, obviously explain more later when I get to it. But in the future, this is the year 2099, which is supposed to be an alternate reality, but due to the fact that, at least recently, the effects of Superior Spider-Man and all that stuff were affecting the 2099 continuity, that kind of brings into question, is it really an alternate universe, or is it the same timeline and everything? But anyways, this is taking place in the year 2099, and by this point, there's a company called Alchemex, which was made by the merger of Allen Chemicals, owned by Liz Allen, and Oscorp. Now, this becomes a mega company, a mega corporation, and it basically takes over everything. At least in future New York, which is called Nova York. Neuva, I believe that's how you spell it. So, yeah, basically everyone works for this company essentially, or a division of this company. This company is everywhere in the world at this point in time. So, with a little background there, McGill OHara, he's very gifted, very intelligent, and he goes to Alchemex Academy, essentially. And when he graduates from that school, he's immediately hired to work for Alchemex in the genetics department, because he shows promise in sciences, especially in genetics. Now, McGill OHara was always interested, and because he's put, and actually, I'll just read the rest of the slide. He's a genius engineer and geneticist for Alchemex in the year 2099. He did so well that the company actually promoted him to be head of the genetics division, tasked with splicing animal DNA with human DNA successfully, because the previous test subjects and previous works in that field obviously did not work out so well. Now, after a test subject died, McGill wanted to leave Alchemex. Now, one thing McGill personally actually championed for was recreating the abilities of certain heroes, such as Spider-Man from the quote-unquote heroic age. So this kind of gives more background on the character, obviously, which is why, again, I do apologize I left this out of the slide. That's very not lazy of me per se, but I'm just surprised I did that. But anyways, McGill goes to the Alchemex CEO Tyler Stone, which actually is his biological father. He doesn't know that at this point, but it's revealed later on that that is his biological father, and he goes to the CEO of Alchemex, Tyler Stone, to quit, but instead gets drugged by Tyler Stone. Now, this just isn't any other drug. The drug is called Rapture, which is a hallucinogenic drug, and the special quality of the drug is that it actually bonds to the person's genetic code, to the point where you will never get rid of your addiction to this, and you could die if you don't get your fix. And the reason why Tyler Stone does this is because McGill OHara is such a good employee. His works are very successful. So in Tyler Stone's mind, if we drug him with a drug that is exclusively made by Alchemex, McGill will have to stay at Alchemex to get his fix, basically, kind of thing. So McGill, for a while, obviously the drug does affect him. He obviously enjoys it, but he can't stay like this. Obviously, he knows that. So he uses a machine that was initially used to splice genetic code of animals and humans. He uses that with the intention of getting the drug out of his system. But his supervisor, who doesn't like him at all, his supervisor and him would butt heads a lot, because obviously McGill is very smart, but he's also kind of a smartass. So that kind of pissed off his supervisor a bit. So his supervisor, seeing this, alters the machine, hoping that it kills McGill instead of obviously helping him out. Now, the machine obviously malfunctions, it explodes, but McGill survives. I think I'm saying Miguel survives. I think that's how you're supposed to say it. And when he wakes up, he realizes that his DNA has been spliced with genetic code of a spider's. And he learns that he has fangs, claws. They're also called talons sometimes. And also his eyes are different. His eyes are much more sensitive to light, among other things. And I'll explain more of that in his abilities. But essentially, he has the powers of Spider-Man, of the heroic age, which he kind of talked about earlier. And using these powers, McGill, he doesn't quit Alchemax anymore. He tries his best to help people with the company's resources as McGill OHara. But, you know, when he's not McGill OHara, he's Spider-Man 2099 fighting the corruption of Alchemax and other criminals and, you know, villains of that nature in the year 2099. So that's it for his origins. Oh, and I forgot to mention this, sorry. His costume, after he got his powers, the Mexican holiday of the Day of the Dead came out. And when that happens, on the Mexican holiday, there's a lot of costumes. And his costume is actually based upon one of those costumes. Now, his costume in particular is made out of unstable molecules, which is why, you know, it's not ripping with his claws and all that stuff. And yeah, I just thought that was something interesting to note, because he does have the Mexican heritage in him. Now, moving on, his abilities. He has superhuman strength, speed, durability, reflexes, agility, senses, healing, organic webbing, and wall crawling. And also, like I mentioned before, he's a genius engineer and geneticist. His strength is about on par with the, you know, Peter Parker Spider-Man. I believe McGill OHara's though is slightly stronger. Speed's approximately the same, even though in quick bursts McGill can, you know, go so fast that it looks like there's another version of him. And the Spider-Man game Edge of Time kind of exploited that ability, because it's not used, you know, every time he's seen in comics. It's one of those things that's used every, you know, a handful of times throughout his career. Durability, he's very resilient, about on par with Peter Parker. Reflexes, same thing. Agility, same thing. Senses now is interesting. He has no spider sense, but he can see in dark. He has some sort of thermal imaging ability with his eyes. His eyes are very delicate though, so he basically wears sunglasses all the time, unless he's wearing his Spider-Man 2099 outfit. Healing is very enhanced. He can heal broken bones and whatnot very easily. He has organic webbing, very similar to what Peter Parker Spider-Man had at one point before, I believe it was One More Day occurred. And wall crawling. Now his wall crawling is different. His wall crawling is from his talons / claws, so they are not from, you know, any sort of electron sharing thing like Peter Parker has. Now also, as you can see in the top right picture, I put that there because another thing he has is his fangs, which he can actually bite people with and inject venom into them. And neat fact, his venom and his webbing chemically has the same components as a regular spider's, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, that's it for Spider-Man 2099. I hope you guys enjoyed the bio. I do apologize for not the confusion, but for kind of the semi-unprofessionalism with the slides versus what I'm actually saying. But I hope this did inform you nevertheless. And yeah, this is Josh, and I'll see you guys later.